What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you all are having a great start to your day. I know I am, because if there's one thing that is certain with the MLB trade deadline is that the Mets are surely going to be active. And from Jon Heyman for the MLB over the past couple hours has reported that the Mets are showing interest in all-star second baseman from the Pittsburgh Pirates and Adam Frazier. So that's what we'll be taking a look at in today's video. Everything there's to know about Adam Frazier and his game, what he could potentially bring to the New York Mets, what the Mets would potentially have to give up to land a guy like him, and so much more. So as always, make sure you stay all the way until the end video for all the details and all my thoughts on Adam Frazier and his connection currently with the New York Mets. If you guys end up enjoying this kind of Mets content and want to see more great Mets content like this, do not hesitate from smashing that like and subscribe button, sharing this video with your friends, put on the notification bell, all those great things. Thank you so much for the continued support, guys. Now let's hop right into today's video. Just as we previously discussed him in our second trade targets video of the season over a month ago, Adam Frazier is a hot commodity leading up to the MLB trade deadline, and for good reason. The former 6th round pick back in 2013 by the Pittsburgh Pirates is finally finding his groove as not just a strong player, but taking his game to another level in his age 29 season. Frazier has always been known for being a consistent hitter in the game of the MLB, but this season has reached another level, batting way over 300 throughout the entirety of the season, and currently having just under a 400 on base percentage at the time of recording this. Both go for 4th best in all the MLB. Also repping a 2.6 WAR currently on the season, which is wins above replacement, and is 25th best across the league, and has a clutch gene in him all season long with a 309 average with runners in scoring position and a 317 average in 2-out situations. Rest assured, it makes sense why so many clubs would love a guy like Adam Frazier and his services beyond the trade deadline, down the stretch, and between his affordable contract, which of course is arbitration eligible at the season's end, a Pittsburgh Pirates team more than likely selling, as we know, by the trade deadline, and a guy that is both a second baseman and can play the corner outfield, showing that versatility. It's very likely that Adam Frazier will be calling a new place home in the coming weeks. Now, before I go any further, I'm sure a lot of you Mets fans are wondering, Tyler, how does Adam Frazier fit in the current structure of the Mets lineup and defensive alignment with Jeff McNeil on second base? Well, great question you might be asking, because Adam Frazier, as we know, is mainly playing second base. Yes, he can play in the outfield, but it's not something that he's a gold glove at, nor is he a gold glover at the defensive side of things in the infield either, but his bat has been so good, which is why he is not just an all-star this year, but is going to be a starting second baseman this year's all-star game. And the Mets are sure to land a guy like him, you're going to have Jeff McNeil be pushed more than likely to the third base position. And yes, Jeff McNeil is not necessarily a defensive guru at third base. He's not better than a guy like Luis Gourmet. And yes, I will say he probably is better than Jonathan Villar, who only had a handful of games up until this season at the third base position, but is nothing stellar. You can sacrifice that knowing what he brings with his bat, and also knowing that Adam Frazier is exactly what the Mets were hoping that Jeff McNeil would be this season. They were awfully similar between them both being second basemen alike, having that versatility to play the outfield at least decent, also being lefty hitters, and just being consistent. Jeff McNeil up until this season has been a 300 hitter multiple years in his career. And yes, I know he had a slow start to his season in the 2020 shortened year, but he got off and ended the season with around a 300 average. And this season, even with his injuries, has just not been the case. He's finally starting to click things and looking better in tune. But rest assured, Jeff McNeil is not the guy that the Mets were hoping he would be at this point of the year, and Adam Frazier is exactly that, and more reasons than one. It's actually kind of alarming with how similar they are in a lot of aspects of their game. And another one of the biggest standouts about Adam Frazier and his game, which makes him so much more appealing than maybe the eye would originally tell you, is when it comes to his advanced numbers from Baseball Savant, as you guys see here, specifically his K rate. He is in one of the best percentiles in all the MLB when it comes to striking out and times batting average. This guy does not strike out. All he does is get on base. He really does his best Brandon Nimmo impression, and while his walk rates aren't obscene, you're not going to see him get a walk every single game or anything like that. He just has such an amazing eye at the plate that is truly unprecedented, one of the best currently in baseball. And the Mets have struggled mightily at times when it comes to striking out this year. Yes, they have worked the count. Yes, they've gotten plenty of walks, but when it comes to clutch situations, they have struck out plenty. And a guy like Adam Frazier, who does not strike out literally at all, okay? There's not going to be a drastic change in the second half of the year, I assure you. This guy is going to stay in the higher percentiles all year long. I love that aspect about him, and that is just another key factor, and not just his on-base percentage being so high at sub 400 right now, but his overall average, just having a beautiful eye for the plate, being down 0-2 in the count, or working in either getting walked or getting a nice base hit. So the power isn't there with a guy like Adam Frazier, as as we know, the slugging is very much not there with only 4 home runs, but the consistency, the actual contact is very much in something that us Mets fans have come to love with Jeff McNeil in years past up to this point. And why exactly Adam Frazier makes sense for the New York Mets is not because of how you're going to handle him on the defensive side of the ball. It is strictly his bat. Again, because you don't have a guy like Jeff McNeil, nor this entire Mets lineup that up to this point has been abysmal when it comes to bringing in runs. The Mets have been second to last currently. Only the Pittsburgh Pirates, coincidentally enough, at the time of recording this, with actual RBIs this season. And even with all of their injuries factoring in, rest assured they have not been clutching up when it comes to getting guys in significantly to the likelihood that we would all assume that they would have been at this point in the season. So with that being said, Adam Frazier, he brings that contact, one of the best contact hitters currently in the game. So what are you going to have to do to land a guy like him? That's the biggest what if question, because if you guys don't know already, a lot of teams want Adam Frazier leading up to the trade deadline, and the two most notable teams according to numerous reports have been, of course, the Chicago White Sox, and we have also seen another team in the San Francisco Giants in the NL. And there have been reports even from Jon Heyman, who originally came out with this one for the Mets, that when it came to a guy like Adam Frazier, White Sox prospect would have to be coughed up, and Andrew Vaughn, who is their top prospect, who's in his rookie year and is the 14th ranked prospect in all the MLB this year. So yeah, that's a big price, a steeper price than I originally expected a month to a month and a half ago when I first saw about Adam Frazier potentially landing with the Mets. Do I think the Mets are going to cough up a Francisco Alvarez, a Brett Beatty for him? Absolutely not. I don't see it happening. But again, as I said in my previous videos regarding guys like Jose Barrios and Josh Donaldson as a package, check it out if you haven't, guys. Ronnie Mauricio is a one prospect out of the big three that I could see the Mets parting ways with, but I would say that if the Mets do get a deal done for Adam Frazier, I have a feeling that they won't have to cough up Ronnie Mauricio, but you're looking at other guys, whether it's Mark Vientos, who has had a phenomenal year in Double-A Binghamton for the Mets, and maybe some other prospects, and even potentially the Mets are going to add starting pitching, which I really hope and believe they will. A guy like David Pearson could make a lot of sense too, as I said in other videos, because David, at the only age of around 25 or so, and has so many years on his contract when it comes to actually having control, that bode really well for a Pirates team that can never hurt to have a guy that can be there for a while to hopefully build in their rotation, as they are in a full rebuild, as we know, and is always selling at the trade deadline. So a lot of factors can go into how you land a guy like Adam Frazier, and it will be a tall task knowing that the price will be higher at the trade deadline versus it saying it be a free agent situation where you just have to be the highest bidder. But I do think the Mets have a strong chance. I really do. But between the White Sox, the San Francisco Giants, and some other clubs out there, the Mets are going to have to do their best to give the best capable offer. And what are the Pirates exactly asking for? They want young talent. They don't want guys currently on the roster. Yes, maybe you could consider a guy like a JD Davis, if you will, to bring there just to fill in things in that infield, even though, yes, I know he isn't a second baseman, but they can move around some things should they wish. Another bench bat, whether it's a VR or Guillorme, but I don't see them being a part of that deal, to be quite honest, because the Mets are trying to build that depth on the bench. They're not trying to get rid of it. They're trying to add on then some with a guy like Adam Frazier, who can benefit at second base, Jeff McNeil at third in situations. You can get different based on situational hitting and what the pitchers matchup are. You could also maybe toy with them in the outfield at times. Say a guy like a Nimmo isn't ready for a game, then you put Pilar in center, and then you put Frazier in left, or a scenario where if Conforto is really continuing to struggle down the stretch, which I don't see as an actual possibility, but should it happen, you can consider the idea of putting him in the outfield more often than not until Conforto kind of gets out of his groove. But again, Conforto is an everyday player. I love the man. You guys know my stance on Conforto, my favorite player. I don't see him going anywhere, so I would say strictly infield is where we would see Frazier more often than not, but he would be a huge get for the Mets should they actually be able to land him, and I would be very much in favor for it. So Mets fans, let me know your thoughts in the comments below on Adam Frazier, and if you think the Mets can actually land him, what kind of trade package would you like to see, and would you like to see not just Adam Frazier, but also possibly a Richard Rodriguez, the 31-year-old right-handed reliever who has been an absolute stud for the Pirates all year long, is more than likely going to be dealt by the trade deadline, is repping just over a 2 ERA on the season, and has multiple years of control on his contract left after the season. So a lot of things I like about Rodriguez, and Mets, it never hurts to add bullpen help. I'm sure they will be doing that as well along with the rotation. They're going to add into all the spots that they feel could help this lineup now and going forward. And the beauty about a guy like Adam Frazier some more is that you get him not just for this year, but he is of course eligible for arbitration after this year's end, so you can try to maybe extend him longer term should you wish for at least a couple more years and you reach an agreement. So guys, let me know your thoughts down below, and as always, if you you ended up enjoying this kind of Mets content and you want to see more great Mets content like this, please make sure to smash that like and subscribe button, sharing this video with your friends, put on the notification bell, all those great things. I had so much fun making this video. I love talking about things leading up to the trade deadline. I'm so excited to see what the Mets are going to do, but thank you so much for your continued support, guys. Let me know your thoughts, and let's go Mets, baby.